Just going to make it right out of here.
Let's see what happens. This is a best of 3. Our first map is going to be on Thunderbird, then Acropolis, and if we go to Triton for Game 3, we will be on that map. It is now loading up. Maru versus Solar. Maru trying to come back and prove a lot here. He's won 4 GSL Code S's, but then lost at GSL versus the World. Let's see how he does now.
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
Tasos doesn't believe. Do you believe, guy in the chat?
Some of them do.
Triumphant Song Gaming, Solar.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a hard to predict group. It's the group of death for a reason. You know, obviously Stats is pretty hot right now, looking great right now. So I think that he is as milquetoast as you can get for a bet for this group. But other than that, it is a little bit difficult, I think.
So yeah, we've seen Maru lately. Obviously, he's had at times the most phenomenal years you can have in Starcraft history. But just lately here, you know, we're kind of a little bit past the middle of 2019. He's not looked as strong. So we're waiting to see what exactly is going to happen with him here now. Again, it's not so much the results that I'm talking about, the fact that he didn't win, he didn't dominate. Because we can get players where they're so good, we kind of put them in an unfair spot where when they don't win everything, we're like, wow, what happened to that guy? And I mean, I think that's not a very realistic or fair way to look at it. I think, however, his performance in the games that he's lost is a much more alarming indicator of where he might be.
Yeah, he was completely
from Vancouver. Welcome, guys.
He was completely unremarkable in GSL versus the World. It's actually really sad.
Yeah, the games were total blowouts.
But I hope to see his top form here. This is where he shines anyway, is in GSL. He chose Solar, so obviously he's feeling he can take him down. He's got a good overall winning record against Solar. Solar is in form, though. Obviously, we have this new patch out, so I'll be interested to see if Maru is going to bring anything, because he has done a lot to shape the metagame for Terran. You know, he really, whether he is in his top form right now or not, I mean, he's still absolutely one of the top 3 Terrans.
I think that he's actually had the most impact on the early game as well, out of the Terrans we've
had. I think
the
late game as well, even.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a period of time where, I would say late mid-game, that's the only player to even talk about with late mid-game is Innovation. And then late game, I would always talk about TY. But yeah, I think Maru now, the early game and late game, he's just so god-tier.
Well, he really completely showed how elastic Terran can be as far as build order options and how quickly they can recuperate. I think coming especially from the earlier days in StarCraft 1, we viewed Terran, I think, in a more rigid mindset. You know, it was much more unforgivable and required some less risk-taking early on, but Maru's completely proven otherwise. Another player who impacted the early game a lot was Beyond, but that was more because of unit control and kind of showing what you can really get away with Reapers. But he's sort of been phased out. He's almost been patched out.
Yeah, no, he literally was. Actually, that's an interesting thing that I was thinking about that I'd like to pick the brain of the Blizzard Balance team at some point about that and see how many players single-handedly caused a patch. Because I think Beyond did, and I wonder if anyone else ever did. You know, like the Reaper nerfs? He was literally, remember, Maru tried to do it, go down 0-2, and then switch his strat and win.
There was another Reaper nerf way early, and that was caused by Maka, I think. Remember this? The entire early game Terran, almost any matchup was just mass Reapers.
Yeah, in the very beginning, you're quite right about that.
Because there were definitely players that had certain play styles where, like, we just, people at Blizzard, and I mean everybody else as well, of course, couldn't quite see where this was going to lead. You know, as far as how the game was going to develop. And so then you have to get these pretty hard patched things coming in there so they can actually control what they're doing. Looks like we're going to be going up to BCs now here from Maru.
Yeah, I'm actually mildly surprised just because of the way that he's walling right now. It feels like it's not super duper safe, but obviously Solar's not getting overly aggressive. He's mostly making drones. He's getting the defensive Roach Warren right now as well. And he's got the Overlord speed quickly. You know, with that new patch, it is a bit cheaper. We're seeing it a lot more now. but he should be able to scout what's going on. We don't really have an Overlord there, though. I think he's sending one around the top of the map right now, so I guess you'll get to scout that right before the BC is finishing.
Do you think we're going to have continuous BCs made? I know we've seen people stop at 3 from time to time and kind of keep it there and pull back. I've even seen some games where they have just one, and then they veer away from it.
I think if you're going to go just one, you got to go bio.
Yeah,
with it.
Well, you have to be doing something immediately afterwards.
Right, yeah. But if you're going mech, you may as well, because mech, you're generally not going to end the game super quick anyways.
But do you think he's going to stop at 3 here, or will he keep...
Oh, I think he'll just make them continuously.
Okay.
I think if you want to actually win a late game, that's the way to do it. Like, Infestors are good, but I think perfectly played BCs are probably, in my mind, in theory, the strongest thing in the game.
Yeah. Well, they're just so good.
Yeah.
Again,
like, Infestors are much easier to do this all with, like just Zerg armies late game in general.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because they've been around for so long, but yeah, I think nothing beats Yamato and Jump and Scan. Those three together is like, well, what do you do?
Oh, yeah. Well, you got an ability that can one-shot stuff. You have the fact that you can relocate. You know, and then the fact that you can teleport means this giant unit, so it's harder to lose giant units. You have more time to just react in general.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's the Warcraft 3 effect.
Yeah.
It's got a million billion hit points.
Right.
Well, you're not going to lose that, are you?
Yeah, you can kind of carefully navigate it as it's eating damage. I think also, just a fourth thing to put in there is the way that the battlecruiser deals damage now, spraying out these shots as it moves. I think the fact that you can jump out of situations means pretty obviously that you can repair. You're just going to get value.
Yeah.
So the Zerg is required to absolutely deal with this perfectly.
So, you know, we see that it's just a pretty standard mech play here from Maru behind. He's got his 3 bases very quickly. Solar's quickly taking his 4th. And he's gone up to his Spire as well. You know, we see this a lot right now where you go Corruptors, you know, to kind of as your BC defense. Some Zergs have definitely gone into a more aggressive approach. I don't think that's what we're going to see from Solar. Like, not necessarily just a massive Roach Corruptor attack right away.
Okay, here we come. Terran beginning to push out now. It looks like he's going to send the BCs down towards the south here to try to hit in that area. And he might have that merge up with this army a little bit later on. This is the big Terran mech poke army that we see come out a lot. A lot of Hellions and a lot of Cyclones here.
Well, Corruptors kind of gathered here. Good creep spread going on from Solar.
We're getting some more Ravagers coming out here as well. Right now it's Ling Roach Ravager is the answer Zerg has for this phase of the game here. This isn't an army that exactly gets you into a great spot in the late game, but it is very strong early on here.
I think it's pretty reasonable to fight off the battle mech and you know, not overcommit to that.
Yeah.
Really making the Corruptors to deal with BCs. Of course, with Yamato, though, you know.
Okay, so these are usually going to one-shot Queens. You get one-shot a Spore, right?
No, it's 2 to kill
okay,
a Spore,
sorry.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and so we have the battlecruisers coming through here now.
Great micro here on both sides, truly.
Yeah, actually, Zerg's doing a really good job. But as you can see, he's able to just warp away, and then you can just repair this and immediately send them back in. And you're going to have that ability to warp around. You're going to have that Yamato cannon there. And this really hurts Zerg. It makes Zerg bleed off a good amount of units early on.
Yeah, and you know, I think that a big part of this is getting the right Corruptor number. It's a little bit tricky, though, because, you know, like, I was talking about that a little bit with No Regret about how how many Corruptors do you need to make Yamato bad? Like, do you need to be able to one-shot before a Yamato gets off? Does that make it bad? But then, because Terran is quick, like, if you have enough to one-shot a BC, don't they kill, you know, 9 Corruptors or something?
Yeah, Corruptors are a funny, like, lopsided thing where you can end up winning one fight entirely in the air, but now you're going to lose on the ground.
Yeah.
You might be able to do some kind of trade-off where you try to take out some of their structures by oozing them down. But, yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing, the Corruptor balance in the game.
It is. And it's a difficult thing as well.
Yeah.
To know exactly the number that you truly want.
Okay, Vehicle 1-1 is almost done. It should be noted Solar has quite a bit in the bank here. He's getting ready to switch into Broodlords. The Greater Spire's seconds away from finishing here. Nice corrosive biles connecting on some of those tanks.
Yeah, not too bad. Still, though, Maru poking through. Has a good amount of siege tanks.
Is Maru going to back up now? I think he is.
I think the Broods will force it regardless.
Yeah, well, then the Roach Ravager definitely sandbagged the progress of the mech army anyways over there.
But, you know, Maru is totally fine. With this composition, I think you're going to hit a very late game almost no matter what. The Zerg would have to screw up to die early onto this. And Solar hasn't really misstepped. It feels like both sides have played like very well so far.
Yeah.
There's nothing to write home about. There's no highlight reels so far from this game, but they're both kind of doing everything exactly as they should. No one's getting too much damage or too little damage anywhere.
Okay, the Hellions probing over here for any kind of opening. Obviously, they can be dealt with Broodlords out. Now, one thing that does happen as a Zerg gets Broodlords in the game is that Broodlords move incredibly slowly. And so it makes it a little bit harder for the Zerg to actually come out and try to attack into the Terran. So Terran occasionally will start to almost play like a Zerg for a little bit and start to grow on the map and expand and try to look for any openings to come in here. You can also, instead of actually trying to kill the Broodlords directly, because especially when you get like, you know, infestors coming into play and the combination of all that, it's just sort of almost impossible to engage directly. What you'll a lot of times see is players trying to play around this by hitting different locations on the map.
Yeah, by the way, it seems that you were pretty right about the BC count. You're asking about, are we going to see like mass BC, or are we going to see just stop
It seems like it's gotten less popular now, but
yeah.
I'm curious as to why, but maybe it just allows you to get a little bit more momentum with your ground game going here.
Yeah, well, I certainly think that is true regardless of whether it's better or worse.
Yeah.
I think it's harder and longer to play the mass BC game for sure.
Okay, here we go. Fungals now.
Ooh.
At least on two of these BCs. Corruptors coming in to try to fire this down, and one goes down. Second wave of shots is coming in here, and they will escape.
Okay, so gets one of them, but still they're gaining value out here.
Yeah, the warp is kind of like a resource of their own in a way. You know, how often can you get that to come out, fight, and then get away again? If you force it away very quickly, it does put a little bit of a reset. Zerg isn't receiving that much damage.
A lot of command centers on the way.
Okay, this is actually pretty big cancels here. Yeah, taking out all these CCs.
Definitely annoying. By the way, I want to mention that we are seeing from Maru a very different unit set than we normally see here. He's making lots of Thors and lots of Liberators. Now, remember we saw like the Mass Liberator, Mass BC at WCG in China?
Yeah.
And that was super cool, right? That was like a very fresh thing to see against the Mass Infestors of Raynor. But to see that now he's going to try this out with like the Broodlord, or the Thors, which can fight a lot of these things, right? Like the Thors can kill if there's not support for Zerg, for instance, the Broodlords. What's the problem with that? It's Infestors. But Mass Liberator can deal with that.
It can.
Yeah. And now we see a Ghost Academy being added on as well, so, and a couple more barracks.
It does seem
this game's getting very interesting.
It does seem like at the highest level of play, this is where TVZ ends up. Very hard for them to truly kill each other.
Yeah.
Both with these death balls that really they have to respect in the end. I know we saw this a lot. Excuse me. I know we saw this a lot, especially in Group A of the round of 16, where I was casting with no regret. Just pretty insane late game there.
Yeah, this is a very cool game, though. I love that Maru's going into Ghost Mech very late on here. Looks like he forgot on Liberator range for a little bit, but that's something that we really only used to see TY do, is to back up into Ghost late game. And, you know, when you're playing just pure mech, sometimes it feels like you're getting a little bit, you know, cost-inefficient trades like each and every time until you die. I feel like that is oftentimes the case against Broodlord Infestor. But the fact that he's getting into those ghosts, utilizing EMP, as well as, what do we call it, steady shot or whatever that, you know, the bad snipe? Let's call it bad snipe. Remember good snipe and how silly that was?
Yeah, that was much better. Yeah. It's funny as the game progressed, somehow Terran got worse at that.
Like, oh my god. It's pretty funny. But anyways, you know, I really like that. I think that he's getting as efficient as he can without going for the really weird and very difficult to use mass BC play.
Okay, he's going to put two roaches behind there just to make sure the Thors actually have to come through and kill that. And wow, he actually pulls away. That'll be a factor in a little bit here. Now, the Broodlords are actually close enough. They could start to push into this Terran turf here. Let's keep in mind, basically what Terran has, that should be about the extent of what Maru can get on this map specifically. It's pretty hard to get further out than this. It could happen. And if it does get to that point, we'll address that when we get there. But for now, this looks to be like...
Well, it's Maru, so he'll probably just build command centers everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
well, here he is in the bottom left. But what I'm trying to get at is Zerg should be able to get down there and deny that.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I
totally.
mean, sometimes Maru can just play so fast and be everywhere in a late game that
Certainly.
it's hard, to catch up. Now we have the Infestor Broodlord combination, this sort of death ball of free damage. I shouldn't say free, but damage of energy and units that
No, you can call it free.
replicate. Yeah,
It's fine.
It is not. You can kill things entirely without you losing any of the resources you invested in. You only lose time based off how fast broodlings can respawn or how fast mana can regenerate on the infestors.
Well, Maru is getting into his kind of signature mass nukes, it looks like, as well, to go with mech this time, which we don't see nearly as often. By the way, big shout out to that small Roach Ravager Ling army that Solar made early on that we talked about.
Are we doing shout outs here?
We got to give a shout out to that army because the last
Are we like
pieces of it
morning
are
radio?
dying.
Are we like musicians? Like shout outs to those Roach Ravagers out there?
Oh, happy birthday to the roaches behind the planetary. You guys killed it this game.
Ooh, good use of voice effects there, covering the mic.
Yeah.
I've never seen you do that
No,
before.
I know. It just
Wow.
came to me.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he got a lot of value out of that. Like, it wasn't that big a force, and it did a lot of things for him. And I like that, Tasteless.
Yeah, no, I'm loving it. I say shout outs to my boy AJ and the Thor right there. Really holding his own in the front line.
You see, this is what I was talking about with the...
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The cost and efficiency that you feel a lot of the
If
time.
Beyonce's watching, we love you.
Yeah. Jimmy, happy birthday. I hope your drive home isn't too boring.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about? The nukes are coming into play here.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
It's all good.
So again, we got another TVC that's like this, where it just hit 17 minutes, and it's such an odd thing to try to engage into here. I do believe that the Zerg on paper seem to have the upper hand. Terran can use the nukes as sort of a zoning thing. It kind of pushes the Zerg away, although it's temporarily.
That's so funny.
Temporary, excuse me.
Yeah. Cancels that nuke.
Yep.
But he killed the creep tumor before he did. Love it.
Oh, there goes the
okay.
last BC.
Well, I don't think he really cares too much about those VCs right now. Yeah, I like that he made the medevac. So I was going to say, watching that little red ghost is painful.
Okay, 2 more nukes coming here.
This is such a weird unit composition that we're looking at. Oh, those were some really good blinding clouds on Thor's, forcing them forward a little bit.
Yeah.
But once again, I look at that engagement right there, and that was Zerg favorite again. So, I mean, right now this doesn't matter, but over time this matters. So, Maru has got to become more efficient in his push here.
Zerg's also grown into the upper right side of the map, so we're almost out of expansions that can be taken here. I gotta say, Maru seems to be having more success pushing into this area. The sheer firepower that Terran has is actually forcing Zerg further and further back, and now these nukes are actually landing close to the hatchery. We're starting to get in range where you might be able to poke out this base.
Look at those hilarious spores in line, getting up there.
Yep. Back to your formation.
Those are such British spores right there, man. They queued right up,
Yeah.
got their positions. They stayed calm. Good stuff.
Nuke's going to land again here. One thing to note, though, is whenever we watch these skirmishes happen from Zerg or Terran, it seems like it takes so long for them to really have any kind of, I guess, for things to pan out for them, that it does seem like a lot of times the Zerg, and this might be why I think we've seen Zerg benefit a little bit more in these kind of fights, is that Zerg gets to consume more of the map while this is going on.
They do.
It does appear that Terran has a harder time actually doing other stuff on the map. I mean, if you look at the mini-map here, Zerg has got the superior number of bases. The bottom left, again, in theory, it should go to Zerg more easily than Terran.
Isn't that kind of a funny thing as well about mech, where, this unit composition can be very good, and
Is this going to land? Well, one of those ghosts died. I've learned to lower my expectations with nukes here, Artosis.
Yeah,
I learned to just...
well, the way that they throw nukes around nowadays,
Yes.
just willy-nilly, everywhere. Where's he going to get these broodlords? Those broodlings are going to die beforehand. Look at that. Down they go. By the way, I think I heard someone say or read someone say that the broodling is the only unit that has never been nerfed or buffed.
Oh, wow.
Is that true?
Is it? I actually don't know.
It could be.
Because it seems like a unit that would have had to have been nerfed or buffed at some point in time. Just
I don't think it's ever been changed.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think everything else has been changed. They really nailed the Broodling. They nailed it, Tasteless.
We don't have it on camera now. There it is. Terran's going to try to take this spot down here in the bottom. Now, keep in mind, the majority of the Terran's army is in Thors. And Thors are the least nimble units Terran has, really. They're clunky. They bump into stuff. It's hard to move them around very quickly. And so it looks like the bottom left is just is going to be Terran's for now. But if Zerg devotes any attention down there, I think he can easily punch the he can kick the command center off of that spot.
I want to hear what you think about this really stupid idea, because right now we're in this situation where they're both trying to be as efficient as possible, and we have like 10k bank for solar, which is about as funny as you can really get.
Yeah.
God. I'm sorry, forgive me, this is as funny as you can really get.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you know all these Broodlings? What do you think about laying a creep tumor, which is free, attacking the creep tumor, so you get all the Broodlings out, and then sending them in a wave to attack? Because that's pure freeness, right? For one attack cycle of Broodlords and 25 energy on a queen, you get Broodlings to run in and kill a turret or something.
I'd have to try to answer that question with another question, which is how mechanically easy is that to do in a game like this? Well, you know what I mean? Because, I get what you're saying is that if you can actually push the Broodlings out any further forward, there has to be some value to that, but I think if it was doable, we probably would just already be seeing it, right? But I'm not sure.
Well, it's such a small thing, and yeah, I guess you are doing some other stuff as well. It just came to me because he like attacked something stupid and then sent the Broodlings in. Like it was like an SCV came up, right?
Oh, Blinding Cloud coming down here. This is pretty big. Terran going to have to give up this location over here at the ramp. A lot more Broodlings coming in here. Another Fungal on top of those Thors.
Yeah, these Fungals are killing it right now.
Oh, great. Neural Parasite. Solar crushing here.
Yeah, he really is. He is smashing at the moment.
Wow. He's finally pushed right in here. Now there's a nuke being shot into here. This is on Terran territory as he's again just trying to do a little bit of zoning. Get some control of this. Another nuke is coming down.
Is Maru just looking for lucky nukes now?
It does look a little bit like that, doesn't it?
He's going to bruise something. Oh, he's going to get a couple.
Yeah, takes a little edge off there.
But still, look at this. Now it's 11k bank, 10k bank, and Maru is like broke.
Yeah, Maru is spending all of his resources trying to hold this off, but again, it's very difficult to deal with a Broodlord Infestor.
It's just
it's hard. It's the way that the damage comes out. Let's take a look at this and try to unpack this. The Broodlings come out. They eat up surface area, right? Also, some of the damage is quite instantaneous when they come forth. So it's hard to advance onto the Broodlords, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have Infestors, which, of course, Fungal. That sort of speaks for itself, but it does slow down movement, which can only benefit the Broodlings, which are also present there. When you have technical units like a Thor as well, but, works with other units, a Neural Parasite can be quite nice to allow you to advance in as you're fighting. You've also got Infested Terrans. If you really need to have burst damage in any moment,
absolutely,
then you have the right location to do it at.
Don't underestimate the Infested Terrans, even now. Yeah, it is very difficult, and
I should mention the Corruptors.
Is just so high.
Yeah, I should mention the Corruptors as well here. That anti-air also allows you to be pretty comfortable with against everything else.
Well, yeah,
and they can turn into Broodlords as well.
If you did not have the Corruptors, this would probably just never work.
Right, but because the Corruptors can also become Broodlords, it just becomes a whole other thing where it's like everything is so symbiotic here on the Zerg side.
Very true.
That it's hard. You watch Terran trying to push through this. It's hard to gain the ground. They can do it, like we're seeing here with the Liberators, having to reset Liberation Zones, trying to get Thors to come through this area, and then just chew through all this free damage from the Zerg. But, the resources speak for themselves. Although Zerg's had more bases, it hasn't been an insane amount more. But when you look at the gas and the minerals banked up, I think that's where you really get to see where the value is coming from out here. Similar to how we talk about the Battlecruiser able to do so much damage to the Zerg early on, it's very difficult to handle because you get so much guaranteed value out of it. It seems like if you're very good at Broodlord Infestor and handling large armies like this, you're going to get more value in the exchanges.
Yes, yes, I would definitely agree. I like that Maru is trying to bring a different style here right now. Like this is definitely not something that we've seen a lot of, like mass Thor, mass Liberator, nuke push.
Yeah.
We've seen nuke pushes, we've seen Maru mess around with mass Liberators, we've seen anyone who uses mech try lots of Thors to try to counter this army. But he's trying to put it all together into something a little bit different from what we've seen, and we've seen some successful pushes, right? We definitely have, and his bank is going up once again. But we're not, like, yeah, he'll kill a base. Like you mentioned before, you know, Solar will take bases in other locations while this is happening. It takes so long to push these down. Don't forget, you're using 10 nukes to get in. That is 1,000 gas, 1,000 minerals. And how many nukes has he launched? And look at the difference in banks right now.
Right.
And tell me that those two aren't related.
To be frank, I don't know if he should be nuking as much as he is. I don't think this actually helps you. I mean, this seems to be resources. If we were to tally up how much was spent on nukes and the actual amount that was really killed that helped, I mean, what is it, creep tumors? You know, well, damaging some...
It's really a tempo play more than anything, right? Like, you push them back. No matter what, they get pushed back if your ghost is far enough back, right? So that's, like, nukes almost never kill anything. That's always, like, luck-based. You kill creep tumors, and sometimes you damage stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, once you've made it to the hatchery, if the nuke kills or not, I don't care. The hatchery's going to die. Whether by nuke or by Thor or whatever.
And I understand that. I understand the footsies, like the zoning game that you're trying to do with the armies here. But I wonder if, you know, if we could add it all together. The nukes are really proving to be
do you need
not a good investment, or do you need this many?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Like, when we see him push into an area using 13 nukes, could he have used 8 nukes to do the same thing?
Or could he have used 3 or something like that? You know,
maybe.
3 really well-placed ones?
Maybe.
Because I almost feel like this mass nuking was a little bit of a byproduct of Terrans getting so insanely far into late game that they were just getting everything. You know, before we got to a point like we're at now where it is starting to become clear that Zerg can really hold an area for quite a while. And as that tug of war is happening over there, you still... Uh-oh. Hold on. Is he going to get away from this? Okay, yeah, he's going to pull away.
Damn. That would have been cool.
Yep.
You're like, never mind, every nuke was worth it.
Yeah.
For the last 10 games Maru played,
all they had to do is get one off.
Oh, yeah, that was a funny angle. I was wondering where that ghost was. I think Solar was, too.
Yeah, there's a whole art with ghosts and trying to get them into certain spots where it doesn't seem like where they would be shooting from.
Now, ooh, I like the suicidal EMP there. But look, here's the thing, too. Because this is kind of a new, weird, different style that we're seeing from Maru. If he ends up successfully doing this and holding all these bases that he's actually pushed Solar off of, yeah, the nukes are definitely worth it at that point.
Oh, yeah,
However many it took, like, if you're actually going to get these bases, if Maru can mine half the bases out in this map, he can definitely win, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, he has made progress here. He's really slowed down any mining in that upper middle base. He's now pushing through this area. I'm waiting to see the money just get spent here, though, from the Zerg, and see if the Terran can hang on.
Yeah,
because
his bank is so gigantic. It's like 3 times on each what Maru has.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's our first game of the night. We're almost at 30 minutes.
Oh, Tasis, tonight...
It's going to be a long night.
Here's the thing. Maru and Solar, these guys are basically cheesers next to Stats and Rogue. Okay? These guys are all in newbies compared to those two. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very long night. You thought that other night was long? Oh, please. You're going to be wishing it was that night again.
Okay, hold on. We got another nuke coming here. It looks like he's going to pull away again. I do want to point out that there's only 22 workers here for Solar.
Oh, my God.
Did you
okay,
notice
well, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
when
he has so much
bank,
of his supply invested into that death ball.
Although, to be fair, now that I'm thinking about it again, I feel like the fringe bases he should fully saturate just to get the resources
I think
out
so.
of it.
I think you want to suck up all those resources and then...
then kill your drones. Like, it's more important getting the resources to just make sure Maru doesn't get them, you know?
Yeah. It's actually you just trying to almost steal on the map from them.
Holy crap. Look at those Broodlords go. Terra needs a fungal growth. Imagine you fungal those broods right now. That'd be the best nuke anyone ever saw.
Okay, another nuke is about to land over here. And Terran's actually popped off that base at the top. It's now down to 12 workers. Again, these can all be remade anytime because there's simply such an absurd amount of resources. Sometimes when you have this many resources, though, it's not as helpful as you would think it is for the how quickly a Terran can push you and attack into you. Occasionally, you will end up with more momentum.
Ah, yeah.
You know.
Well, it's rebuilding a technical army like this can be difficult, but it feels like unless a nuke hits, you'll never have to rebuild all of it at once, right? It'll
right.
be a piece of it that's missing that he can remake relatively quickly compared to the whole.
Okay, again, he's just able to avoid the nukes. And now you're just seeing this damage just burst in here. And he's able to just back away from that nuke again.
Yeah. I want Solar right now. I'm not even joking about this. Get an Overlord with drops and see if he can chain steal an SCV. How many knurls does it take to keep an SCV that you stole alive long enough to get back to your base and make a command
It's
center?
a lot.
Well, he has a lot of infestor stasis.
I used to know that number, but that was like among the fun trivia things to say in year 1 of GSL, but eventually we're like, this is never going to happen. But
yeah. Well, you can do it with a pro pretty easy, or a drone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you'd never need to do it with the drone, would you?
So,
unless you stole from... No, that doesn't work either. In a team game, that could work.
Okay.
11 drones now, Tasteless. Is he even mining? Is Maru just going to take this? Like, we're talking all this trash about how efficient Solar's being.
Well, I mean, we're not wrong about how efficient this Infestor Broodlord is. This is apparent to anybody who has eyes here. Thing is, Maru is actually doing such a good job, and he really has actually. It's taken a while, but he's basically kept Zerg off of about 3 bases. Actually, I'm sorry, 4 bases, because Terran's now occupying one in the center left.
Yeah, and he's like checking the other ones too. Like Solar actually has no bases with minerals left. He has like little sparse patches at this point. That's hilarious. He has 10k, 7k. The map is about a little over half mined out. Well, no, more than half mined out, but he needs to actually go do something now. He only needs to get through 16 more nukes so that there's no more gas left. Oh. All right.
Okay, Duke's coming down again. Now note, Terran doesn't need that many workers. Terran basically sprays out mules to just gobble up all these mineral patches.
It's like buckshot.
Yeah, it is. Okay, another scan over here. Both armies have kind of moved into this upper area, the top. And actually, he's going to get a deny on this base too. So what does Zerg actually have going for him right now?
A giant bank and a scary army.
The third, yeah, this is what's so weird about this. The third base that Zerg took in this game, it looks like there's about 2 mineral patches left, but you have to imagine those are nearly mined out. Like, and then the upper right base appears to be nearly mined out as well. Same idea. And so, yeah, this is kind of the odd situation we have here oh, that was not bad.
That was a sick EMP.
Yeah, that was really cool. So what you've got is Zerg with sort of this insane army. It's 186 supply in attacking units. Okay? I probably should have pointed this out before.
It's almost, what would we call it? We called it the Fist of Neve.
Yeah.
When it was 1 supply of workers and 199 supply army of BlizzCon.
Yes.
That was so sick. This is very similar to that.
Yeah. But
and if you kill that last probe to get another observer, it's the Fist and Forearm of Neve. Remember
that's right. The Fist. But you got Terran roaming here, looking for a fight. Now, if you could kill all the Broodlords, actually, I don't know how you'd manage to do that, but if you could, I would say in theory it would take the Zerg a little bit of time to then get all the Broodlords back out again. Right? So maybe that gives Terran some kind of opportunities to do some damage here. Okay, here we go. Here's Infested.
Oh,
Terran's
God,
coming
he's
down.
going for it now.
Yeah.
He's not playing anymore. That is, well, all the spells are now gone.
Yeah, all the energy's gone to those Infestors.
That's fine, though. Look at how many Broodlings there are.
Look at that. He's got to juggle the Thors there.
Yeah, it's very nice.
With the Medivacs.
Oh, he's flanking with 2 Thors.
God. Another nuke is being fired down here. I think he should be able to catch the Ghost. The Ghost is just down at the bottom. It's taken out.
There's so many broodlings. There's just so many. It's crazy how many broodlings there are.
Wow.
He is just attacking through. Maru's at 127 gas.
Look at this.
Is that 2 gas?
Now, how much has he spent? 6K minerals, 3.3 gas. So if Terran can stabilize, Maru's at 30 gas. Put this into perspective. So every Thor is so precious.
Is this where you
Time
start
for him to
making
switch
Marines?
to bio, yeah.
Jeez.
Time to get some 0-0 Marines out here.
All right, he's making 2 Hellions. Well, this was an interesting game for us to live through, Tasis.
This was an illuminating game on the state of TVZ, Artosis. This is that's all I'm going to say about that. I think we've all taken away a few things about this matchup.
Well, it was a weird style from Maru, and I really didn't think it was going to work. And then it started to look like it was really super duper going to work.
I wonder if he didn't nuke
and then
so
it didn't
much.
work.
Yeah.
Well, the nukes are how he took over bases as well, but Solar was so patient that he was basically not mining for more than 10 minutes, I want to say, at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less than that, but
No,
like
it was close to that.
time.
It was like 8 minutes or 7 minutes or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was a while. Well, look, you always have the option in StarCraft to turn the aggression on, to start attacking in there. So I say maybe Maru needs to avoid ever getting into a game that long. What do you think?
Yeah, he might want to bring it down a little bit or use a different composition. You know, the thing is, it's hard to know exactly which way to go, right? Do you try the mass species stuff? That can go so wrong so quickly, right? Like if you hit a fungal or a neural, the BC should be dead.
Yeah.
So that's very, very unforgiving, but theoretically could fight against this type of stuff in the later game. And then you have just regular bio play that would go into things like, you know, Ghosts and Vikings and Liberators and things like that. Obviously, nukes there as well, but maybe... The thing is, with that type of play, the game might look similar to what we just saw, where Maru's killing all the fringe bases and all that, but eventually Solar can hold on well. And then there's like straight up mech play, which seems like I don't know how the hell you're going to win with just straight up mech play other than the first timing push before infestors get massed. So yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like you should go a bit more aggressive this game. Maybe not go to the pure late game that Zerg is so strong at right now.
Yeah, I think, look, if late game, if Zerg's too strong, play around it. End the game before they get there.
Yeah.
You can
Don't
always
let
do
them
that.
get the army.
That's right. And our game is now ready. So we're going to go into game 2 now. Maru versus Solar. Solar with a 1-0 lead. See, that's how you do it.
Yeah, Maru knows.
I was like, I'm not ever going into late game like that again.
Screw that.
I love myself.
Yeah. You watch. I hope he just wins with double proxy barracks games.
Yeah.
He just like kills Solar. He's like, yeah, get out of here.
Well, there is something to be said on this too, because people will go, well, how do you stop? This is the old one for the for the very early days of StarCraft. How do you stop a player who has 20 carriers?
Yeah.
And the answer is actually, well, how did you let him get 20 carriers?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You don't just get 20 carriers. That's actually not how the game works. So you had to somehow allow this to occur. And I think on some level, if
true.
as problematic as Broodlord Infestor seems to be, Maru certainly doesn't have to let this game go to Broodlord Infestor late game. Mm-hmm. You can attack earlier.
Yeah. And the difficulty becomes like, what if the Zerg is so good at holding that situation? But it's a really important thing to mention and to realize. I think we see that a lot from Protoss as well, where late game PvZ is very, very difficult against that same unit composition. So
yeah, so they just don't deal with it.
Yeah, Protoss.
Let's end this game.
It's rare that you see him go that late. Ooh,
oh,
nice
that
scout.
spot is money.
That is a quality.
Right
scout.
over Wolf statue.
Wolf statue.
Or dog statue. So the drones are going to come out here. Oh, not bad. One drone does die, though.
Yeah.
This bunker might finish. Oh!
Uh-oh.
How much?
Oh.
The Marine cheated. It got in there before the animation was done.
That is true.
They can do that.
Yeah.
They are actually pretty fast.
That's a fact. Yeah. Full animation of it being built doesn't line up with when it's functional.
Yeah, when you can actually get inside.
Oh, man. Solar's super dead. He's lost so many drones.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Where's your
We got a real game now.
Where's your Corruptor Broodlord God now, huh? Yeah.
And now Reaper's out too.
Yeah.
Insult to injury.
Cut his face off. Get him.
Cut his face off.
Get this late game playing scumbag player. Well, actually, hold on. Is Solar going to hang on here? He's got a queen out now.
Dude, he lost a lot of workers there. I don't think anyone would like this position. I think Maru's got him.
Here's all he's got to do. He's got to hold off this attack and then get Broodlord and Fester again, all right?
I want to see what happens if this game happens online on the NA server. I feel like the Zerg player would be like, LOL, you can't beat me in a macro game, and the Terran's player is just like, LOL, you know, this is, yeah, of course I can't, which is why I'm doing this.
Probably the tone a little bit different. Maybe not LOL. Maybe when they're not really like LOL, well, I can't beat you.
Yeah, it's more like ROFLMAO.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot more caps lock in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Some wishes of various
GG.
Oh my gosh.
And this is where one of the NA players would have spilled Mountain Dew into his keyboard.
Okay, so Maru picks up map 2 with the double proxy racks. Not the greatest drone micro from Solar, if we're going to be honest. The 4 drone pull already was kind of like...
So I just want to point out, guys, they're even now. Those two games, one that took about 35 minutes, the other one that took 3.
They count the same.
Baby. They count for the same thing.
Isn't that
beautiful?
Truly, who's the greater player here?
Well, we don't know, Artosis. We're gonna have to go to game 3. Okay. I know that one guy was really patient, only having 12 workers and infestors and broodlords and battling it out and just slowly giving up enough to let the Terran overextend and eventually not trade efficiently. But I'll tell you what, that Marine got in that bunker pretty fast. And so we're 1-1. We don't know who the better player is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be either one of them.
Well, we're going to find out on
Not
Triton.
sure.
One will have to be the better one.
They seem even to me right now.
Yes. So, let's go into Triton for game 3. I would not be surprised if Maru does another rush, but only time will tell. Let's go.
Fight! Jin Air Green Wings, Maru. Triumphant Song Gaming, Solar.
You know, this map Triton, one of the moons of Neptune. Imagine that. There's some sick, crazy alien battle happening on a moon within our solar system.
Yeah.
But no one sees it because humans are sitting here looking down at their phones instead of up into the sky of possibilities.
That's right. We're watching space on our computer screens and our phones.
Yeah.
Space justice. This might be the best sign we've had.
What does that even mean?
It's exactly what this is. It's like street justice and space justice.
That's the funny thing. It's like called Starcraft. The fact that it's in space, I'd never ever think about. Not once.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's like a chessboard to me. You know, where I'm just like, it has no meaning.
No one's like looking at the chessboard and thinking of Game of Thrones or anything like that. But
yeah, exactly. The space justice.
Space
Such
justice.
a great sign.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Maru didn't do anything aggressive at all, but I mean, I think he might be going for more of like a mid-game push here. Maybe
he just wants to play that same Thor game again.
Yeah, he's like, all right, now that I got my free win out of the way, let's go back to just...
I want 70 minutes of losing
I'll
and
show
3
you how
minutes
to
of
use.
winning.
Look, I've calmed down. I'm going to get half those number of nukes and a few more Thors, and we're going to be good to go.
You know, if they can reduce Overlord's speed to 75, 75 from 100, 100, I think they can reduce nukes from 100, 100 to 75, 75 as well.
Oh, so we need more nukes is what you
We
mean.
need more nukes.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I need more nukes not hitting anything. Can you imagine if the nukes could come down faster, they were cheaper and came down faster, just the end game was the ultimate BS from Terran?
Can you imagine if you didn't have to launch them
From a ghost?
vertically, but you could launch them horizontally so that
You could shoot them like an artillery rocket, he's just fired across the map.
Yeah, and they have to split their Broodlords then? Because if it hits one, it goes off. Right?
Yeah. I guess it makes sense though when you think about it.
Why not?
Why are they not? Why are they shooting in space? Just shoot it like it's it's
Yeah.
artillery.
Just give them to your ghosts, and they just launch them right off.
Yeah.
Look, the Ghost Academy is smaller than the Thor. You give 2 Thors at Ghost Academy, they can carry it and just hold it sideways
Or just,
like a cannon.
Just make it so that the Ghost Academy can just tilt.
Yeah.
Like it's a circus cannon of some
Shoot
sort.
it right across the map.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's going into space and coming back. This is the stupidest
And we don't even know where the nukes go when they're canceled and they're in space. We have nuclear bombs flying all over outer space. This seems pretty reckless.
Yeah, yeah. Think about it, right? You remember when satellite internet came out, but it lags like hell because your signal goes to the satellite and then comes back?
Yeah.
Stupid, just like the nukes.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Doesn't make any
Bad
sense.
execution of technology.
The Terran would have already never lost any GSLs if we just had those.
Yeah, they just come out and you have to dodge them. You have to split your units.
Yeah. Or even better,
You think Fungal's
you gotta
good? What
shoot
about
them out of
nukes?
the sky. What about that? You have to have your corruptors fly through the map and they're all firing at the nukes.
But you can't hit the firing pin inside the nuke or it still explodes,
That's right. They all
You
have
gotta be
laser
careful about
sights
that.
on them.
Yeah. I think we fixed the game, Tasteless.
Yep. You wait for those patch notes to come out our toes. I think we can take a little bit of responsibility for this game
For
getting
sure.
better.
Until we see what the games look like
Yeah.
and it turns into Afrika TVT again.
We have to retire into an island.
Yeah.
We have to live in exile until the next patch.
So it is a bio-based play here, so that's...
Yeah.
At least we have 3 very different games.
So we'll probably be seeing that push come out in a little bit here. Yeah, but these are about as different in TV or TVZ games as you could possibly ask for, especially coming from the Terran. We don't really know what Zerg would have done in game 2 because Zerg never got to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. But I know what he was going for. Broodlord Infestor.
That was definitely in the back
pretty
of his
sure.
mind.
And do you know what? He's getting melee here, so maybe not.
Wow.
But if the game goes long enough, absolutely.
All things point to Broodlord Infestor at the end.
Yeah. All paths lead
Lead
down
to
the same
Broodlord
road.
Infestor, yes.
Every game of Broodlord Infestor starts out with the 13th drone.
This is true. So we've got a lot more lings being made here as Terran's going to push out with some of these Hellions and the Reaper.
Going to go in and scout.
Yeah, and he's going to see exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, the tanks get pulled away, so I don't think he saw those, but...
I think he probably suspects this, though. Terrans are almost always hiding their tanks now. I think you almost have to assume
Yeah.
tanks are going to be there. They'll put them in medevacs or just
like-
pull them away from the vision. Of,
Really no reason not to hide anything. Hide all the things.
yeah, just always hide stuff.
You know. Command center goes up after the Overlord dies. So can't know exactly what's up, but look, Stim's already done. He's going to have +1 combat shields and 3 siege tanks, I believe, in this push. So that's pretty scary, but 1-1's going to be finishing for Solar. He's getting Baneling speeds a little bit later. But with 3 siege tanks, slow Baneling's going to have a hard time. Oh, look at that, he cancels. He's scared, Tasteless.
Here comes that push now. And Maru is excellent at these kinds of pushes. He's perfect at using his siege tanks to target down the Banelings and his stray Marines at the Banelings and basically just trading perfectly, but he's not in siege mode yet.
Oh my
God, this is just a really, really bad engagement here for the Terran. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to be ready. You can't be on creep with siege tanks and not have them sieged up yet.
Yeah, he got very greedy with this push.
Yeah, he
And,
was way too ambitious.
Solar really jumped
And here
on
he's doing it again with his tank. Like the tank is sieging up as it is completely surrounded by Zerglings.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be able to push this back for a little bit, but yeah, okay, more Lings and Banes coming. His Baneling speed is getting very
He's
close
pushing
to
him
finishing
all the
out,
way
too.
back.
Yeah. And this is a pretty solid hold, but you know what? He did cancel his 4th to hold this, so that, you know, that means something. The 3rd base flying over from Maru, so he's really not that far behind economically. The thing that I really like for Solar here, though, is that his 2-2 started instantly. So when that finishes, that could be a very great advantage, but he needs to not die before that.
Okay, he's going to come in again. A little bit lopsided here on the defense. Oh, actually, never mind. He's got Banes coming up there. I was going to say he didn't seem to have much on the high ground there.
So you think a Queen can beat 16 Marines and 2 medevacs?
Yes. Well, right now, Maru hasn't made much of a dent into the Zerg at all. The Zerg's actually taking a 4th base just down there. It's actually just finished, as you can see. But I imagine that Solar's going to be itching to try to counterattack pretty soon here.
Yeah, well, he's going into his
Oh my god, he did it again with the siege tanks. Oh. He just keeps sieging these tanks so they get one shot off, and then Terran has to pick up and leave. It's like he's
stayed so aggressive. The thing is, his build is aggressive. He's just producing a hell of a lot of Marines. He's not putting a lot into upgrades. Like, he's about to finish 1-1, so now he's going to be on parity for upgrades again, finally.
Yeah.
But we don't see, like, 2-2 started, right? I don't think he has an armory. He's just making some Liberators. He's trying to kill Solar, and he needs to. Because as this 2-2 finishes, if Solar just kind of keeps up on his macro, it gets harder and harder for Maru to break through.
There's this weird area over here that's constantly in a fight to try to either have creep here or not have creep over here. Terran comes up a little bit further. Ooh. There is a counterattack just north of here over the Terran's 3rd. I don't believe there's much to defend over at that.
Oh, yeah. That is a very nice counterattack, isn't it? But I tell you, I think the reason why Maru's playing like this is, well, A, because of Game 1, and B, just because of these high ground bases, right? Like, these look like places where you can do pushes like this and really get a lot of damage done.
Okay.
And he's, because there's no creep there, he's doing much better than you would expect.
Yeah, he really is. Again, a lot more SCVs killed off. 15 total. That puts Maru to 49 to the 74 drones of Solar. And again, Solar's so resilient, just pushes back up here with his creep tumors. Maru is instead going to shift gears away from pushing on the ground and go for a big drop. And I believe that drop is headed over here towards the east side of the map.
Well, we have a hell of a lot of Banelings being morphed over here. So this is pretty darn scary. He's got 2-2 upgrades right now against 1-1. The medevacs, I'm not sure what those will get done, especially considering... Oh, okay, he's actually split it up. He's got one group going to the main. He's got one group going to the 4th. So this can be pretty hard to split against correctly. Look at this. All the army going towards the 4th. That means the main is kind of open.
Okay. The Baneling's just going to tear through here. Oh my god.
Well, that was serious damage.
Oh my no! I don't think Maru can win this game, man. He's like, Shine's having a hard time keeping up on the number of fights Maru's losing on the map.
Well, Liberator's being pushed out here now as well. He's got his 2-2. Looking good, looking strong. Maru doesn't have a lot going on. He's about half the workers. He's less supply. And that's Ling Bane only for the
GG,
supply.
he taps out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Solar takes that down 2-1. Again, looking very strong right now. Finally back in form after, I would say, what's it been, a year and a half, 2 years since Solar's looked this good.
Yeah, Solar's looking really impressive. Maru, I don't know if it's just the